Welcome back to Itsnotjunktv. My name is Jarvis, and today I thought I'd bring you along as I tried to get this old two-stroke Dayton power auger up and running. I got a fence job coming up. I don't normally take them, and that's why this thing's been sitting in a shed for about 5 years. That's how ambitious I am to actually use it. But it is, I'm not sure, probably 80s, mid 80s, early 80s, late 80s, 90s. I don't know. I can't find much. I did find the manual online for it, but it is a two-stroke. It's labeled as being made by Dayton, um, but it's a cool little machine, and I'm in need of it. And I thought you guys would like to see a carb being rebuilt. It's completely covered in grease, so I'm gonna take it and we're gonna do some degreasing, show you how I do it. Just show you some things that I do. I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm not saying it's the only way, but it's the way I do it. And if you can learn a couple things from it, that's cool too. But stay tuned. Let me get this back outside and we're going to start the cleanup process, get the grease off of it. Then we'll let you have a good look at it. I know it's kind of off screen here, but if I squat down to where you can see it too, doesn't look right. So, but let's get started and let's see if we can get this thing to run today. All right, so what we got here in our arsenal. This is what I tend to degrease with. Heavy old engines, anything like that. You can buy some expensive degreasers. You can buy at the parts house, but I get these at the dollar store, Dollar Tree, anything like that for a buck a can, $2 a can. So same thing with these. Just go to the dollar store. They're $1 a pack, and they end up working just fine. And just a little bit of Dawn in a spray bottle, and mixed with water. It's what I use to test for leaks in tires, but it'll come in handy for this. But really, let's set this greasy thing over here. Let's see. Everybody get a good look at it here. Not real heavy. Little twist throttle. Still has that. That's the model. I assume it's US made. It might be 70s. It may even go back older than that. I bet as with any two-stroke and somebody that mixes heavy, you end up with grease pretty thick everywhere. So what I typically do, take a little bit of this oven cleaner. I prefer to find the stuff that it's what they call no heat, no preheated in the oven. This stuff isn't. This stuff may not work because this has been in there on a shelf for 2016. So it's been in there for a while. That's how often I use it. But a lot of it's just citric acid, so just sit out here in the sun for a little bit, and then we'll bag up this carb and just let her soak. Let this stuff eat off of it. Hopefully this stuff works. Hopefully the aerosol ain't. There we go. Yeah. I just really want to get this where the heavy grease is. It probably eats some of this paint and stuff off. It can be pretty aggressive, but might as well shine up the handles a little bit. Roll it over here. Try to stay off the labels and stuff like that. Like I say, I'm not putting this stuff on so heavy that you can hear it cutting into that grease. Whew, it's working. All right. Make sure she's good and coated everywhere. Like I say, I ain't getting crazy with it. All right. Might have to do it a couple times, but that'll be good for this time, I think. Get a couple more spots here on that cover. Not cover, when I go to spray it, I'll just pull it off. I just got it on there now, mainly to keep from getting up on the magneto and stuff. But we'll let that sit there for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and wrap up that carb real quick and spray her down. This stuff's been sitting about 20-30 minutes now. Let's see, back us up. How about that? All right, so it's been sitting. I've recoated it a couple times. Just come out and sprayed some more of this oven cleaner on it. I want to try this old latex glove that was laying there and see if I can't pull it over that. I don't care if much gets in that little vent pipe right there, because it just goes right back in. And we'll try to tuck it back up under them fingers there. But next I like to do is, after I've let this stuff sit, just take some of this Dawn and water here. See, almost just the pressure from that spray bottle there, knock all that grease off. See, even that caked on stuff just falls off. Now, you may want to wear gloves while you're doing this. This stuff is pretty acidic, and it'll probably eat like it's taking the paint off. Anywhere that's loose, it's going to take it off, just so you're aware before you spray this on anything with a good paint job on it. If you're worried about the paint, I wouldn't use this stuff. It is definitely not paint safe, and it will, if it can get behind it, it will take it off. Let's give her a good spray down with this soap, which I think also kind of neutralizes that oven cleaner a little bit. All right. Now, take them. Don't try to spray down right into the top of it. You don't want to purposely flood it out. Get all that old grease out of there. That's a air cleaner, or the muffler right there, so we gotta make sure if that's got any kind of filament in it, we need to make sure we dry that out real good. Couple little spots back in there. Try to get all that grease off if I can. Just make the whole rest of this process good. The carb, I ain't really worried about this, because it's gonna get clean when we pull it off here in a minute. So, but now I'll take this back. We'll pull it out here in the sun, let it drip dry, and that way we don't make a huge mess in here on the workbench. All right, so this thing's been sitting out here in the sun a little bit, drip drying, but you can see how good of a job. Just a little bit of cheap. Now, like I say, it is going to pull the paint off. If it can get behind it, it is going to pull it off. But you can see, so I didn't really clean that carburetor, because I'm going to take it off. But you go from that to that with just a little oven cleaner. That don't need to be on there no more. All right, let me finish drying this dude off. A little bit of grease here and there. But for the most part, it pulled everything off. So let's get it back on the bench and we'll start pulling this carb off here. All right, we got this thing back here on this makeshift bench, which isn't nothing but a milk crate flipped upside down. Threw on these because this hasn't been cleaned yet. I did notice though, before this little twist throttle, this linkage or this little throttle mechanism, which is thankfully part of the motor casing, has freed up. It was kind of stuck, so that'll be easier to clean now. Another benefit of the oven cleaner. But so it's looking like the only thing that is connecting the carb to this motor, of course, is your two studs that come out the side there for the base of the carburetor, but there's a little return spring here for the governor, so I think we'll go ahead and just pull that off. Let that hang back in there for now. Just leave it, because it'll stay with the governor. Actually, I'll take it and lay it back there off to the side. And then next is just pull these two, I think they're 3/8 nuts off of here. Now these little carbs, if you've never been into a carb, there's not a whole lot to a carburetor. Everybody gets intimidated by them. There's not a whole lot to setting them. The fuel air mixture, your idle, all that stuff, it's all fairly easy. They make it out to be some mystery, and really there's not a mystery to it. It's just a couple jets, and I don't think this one will have a float. This will be more of a diaphragm kind of, but I don't even know if there's anything wrong with it. It probably doesn't. It's just, well, they made that to where you can't get nothing in there. Huh. That's odd. Let's see, turn it up. There we go. Gotta get the right angle on the find angle. That's the trick. So lay your hand under there and still get hung up on stuff. That way it don't go flying. Let's see. Now it's stuck in there. Alright. There's that other nut, and let's see. She's trying to be difficult. You don't want to go jerking and pulling on it. You don't want to be overly rambunctious with it, because I don't have another base gasket for this. I could make one, but if you're gentle, hey, I didn't even need to undo that spring. That was part of that assembly. That's all right. Yeah, it did. It still needed to go. See, that seems to be loosened back up. All right. Well, let me do a quick clean on this. We'll get it back, and I'll get it on a tray, and we'll start going into it. Pull this diaphragm off here, pull the jet out, run some cleaner through it. There's no cleaner air filter element. They've just got the screen on there, so that means this motor has probably sucked up more dirt in a little bit. Got that off. All right, let me get this grease off this thing, and then when we come back, we'll see how far we need to tear into it. Got some carb cleaner here. Might be all we need. Let's see. Yeah, got this thing cleaned up here a little bit. Most of the grease off of it. Trying to get this old filter and stuff. Oh, well, that wasn't much. It's kind of a waste on their part. Let's pull this front piece off here. A little breather housing. Let's pull it off. Would have made cleaning that a lot easier if I'd have pulled that screen out of there beforehand. But figure it out as you go, huh? Alright. Get them out of there. Pull this little breather housing off. And we'll start spraying this dude out. I really tugged on that a little harder than I wanted to, but it come apart. Alright, got us a little work table here. This big pan, this big baking pan I picked up at an estate sale. They come in kind of handy. Alright, so I don't think I want to try to pull this diaphragm out if I don't have to. I want to pull, I think we'll start. Is that one too wide? Yeah. That one's too wide, of course. Don't ever force anything, just find you a screwdriver, it fits. There's no need in stripping anything out. Don't use too small, don't use too big. Just find one that'll slip in there. That one, well, that one come out. I think it's just the fuel air. Well, not that one either. See? 14 foot long, but it should do it. I just want to see what we got going on. Fuel air, I'll show you if that's, I think that's what this is. It might be the jet. Yeah. Seems pretty clean in there, to as been as greasy as it was. Let's give her a little dose of juice. Careful with this stuff. For some reason it likes to shoot back and get me in the eyeball. Alright. It's soon been working its way through. Alright, let's start from this side. Let me put some down in here. Wow, well, everything's flowing through pretty good. I don't know that there's nothing dirty coming out of this carb. Did somebody actually run or empty? I find that hard to believe. There was an awful lot of gunk in the oily, a bunch of oil in the gas tank. That's why I took it off before I did anything. I don't think this carb needs to be gone through. If I take this apart, it's going to tear that diaphragm. I was really expecting this thing to be filthy on the inside, but it's with a bunch of dried oil, and I don't see nothing. I don't. I don't know that I've ever not noticed that little notch in there before. Is anybody else? In the end of that? Nobody's probably able to see anything. Alright, well, kind of a change of plans. I really, because most times you pull these type of diaphragm carbs apart, I think they use crankcase pressure. I mean, there's a little bit of oily residue, but I think that's what was in that hose. Let me, let's take that hose off here and get closer. See what we got on the inside here. screwdriver through you, huh? Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever been in this. I think this is, all this stuff's been on here for quite a while. There we go. There's some oil in this. Like I say, when you let that two-stroke sit around, it just turns to, look, there is some gunk coming out of there. Or is that paint coming off the bottom? Carb cleaner is pretty aggressive. If you've got a painted part, you can expect that it's going to probably, it does to them gloves as it dries. Yeah. Don't. If you can't tell, I'm trying to avoid taking this bottom off of here. Let's see. See where I sit near my toolboxes? Everything's pretty close. Of course, nothing's organized, but everything's pretty close. Well, probably not what you expected to watch, but keep getting close. Let's see. Oh, I got more than that in here. I don't have many of these torques, handled torques. I usually just have bits. Well, maybe I don't have one that'll fit that. That's the world telling me not to take this off here, because you're going to tear this diaphragm, and now you're going to be hunting for a, or making one, which it's probably rubber, which I can't make. So, well, I hate to disappoint y'all, but I do not think I'm going to bother pulling that off there. There is not much coming out of here. There was a little bit settled in over here. I'm going to run her through a few more times. I think that's where that jet comes in somewhere. There's like one that comes in at an angle maybe. Yeah, right there. All right, well, I don't think I'm going to bother. This thing is clean inside. I think maybe whoever was running it may have run it completely empty the last time. There went that little spring. Good thing the thing's got a magnet on it. That'll have to get the hook back up. All right, well, let me, I'm going to run a little bit of air through this thing a couple times and see. Shoot, all the oil's in that hose right there. I'm gonna run air through this a couple times and see. Let's see if this little diaphragm's working. I still think I'd risk it. I think we're going to go with it. I think we're going to stick it back on there. If I got to pull it back off, then you'll see that in a future part of this video. All right. Next thing I think I'm going to do before I go to put this carb back on is make sure this little throttle, external throttle mechanism they got going here is clean and moving, because like I say, it was locked up before. It wasn't moving at all. But we'll clean all the heavy grease and take some of this carb cleaning, try to get back in there. Let's get any grime. It's just all the two-stroke, heavy two-stroke used through the years. I didn't even know that little set screw was there. It was covered in so much grease. All right. Yeah. Alright, I think that's probably good enough. We're not restoring this thing to new, we just want to be able to use it a little bit. I only got 5 or 6 post holes put in. I could do it with a hand, by hand, but this would sure make it easier. Right, get that off of there. Just make sure your gasket is good. You can see that one I got lucky and it pulled off there pretty clean. Put this back on. Now I'm fully aware that I'm probably going to have to take this back off. I never get that lucky with things just sort of working or not needing cleaned, thoroughly rebuilt, new. Which you probably go on Amazon and find this little carb for almost nothing. I've been pretty lucky. I've gotten pretty lucky with those. I've gotten quite a few for little Tecumseh motors, 3.5s, 4s, 5s, that I've just taken out of the box and literally stuck on there and never had to adjust anything. They fired up and we're good to go. Now, I'm not saying everybody's experience is like that, but that's what I experienced. Just make sure this is seated down there flush. You don't want to cock it, eyed it, and because it'll just get drain more oil and fuel everywhere every time you try to use it. So put a little bit of pressure on one side, a little pressure on one side. Just keep going back and forth. You don't crank them down at once. You don't hit the awkward machine to work on. Get it down where it snugs. Go past a little bit. You don't want to get a Herculean arm on this, just a little. Like right there. Maybe come back up here. Use smaller wrenches, smaller stuff. Use smaller wrenches. Don't get some big extended. Try to use something smaller. That way you can't hulk it around and destroy it, because I wouldn't know how that works, but I do know how that works because I've done it before. We all have. Anybody that's ever worked on anything has strong armed some stuff and realized at the end you should have been a little more gentle with it. This little spring, I wish I would have went ahead and stuck on there before I bolted this car back down, but I just thought about it. I mean, I knew it needed to go back on, but for some reason, I think we can sneak it on the side there. Alright, we're back on there. Now we just need to come out here. Don't get carried away. You can bend these little dudes. But they got enough give. They've got enough give that... See, that opens the governor up. Let's see, that should drop back off. Why is that not dropping back off? Is that not... I don't think the little governor is loose enough yet. I think it's still kind of stick. Alright, we'll take us a rag, tuck it back up under here, try to catch the bulk of this stuff, and we'll just give her a spray. See if we can't. Because if that lever don't get back up, that governor will stay wide open. There we go. So we come back this way, as long as everything just free floats. There we go. That's all it took. And then I'll probably take just a dab and put it everywhere but where you want to put it to make this motor in this engine oily again. All right, there's all that going. The little fuel line, I should probably have run that clamp up first. See how we're... Alright, yeah, we got decent enough. And we'll come around. And get that clamp back up. I won't put the breather on just yet. Choke's moving good. Next is this little throttle. It broke off of here. Let's see if we can see what they had going on here to get that clamp down, and so it'll actually do throttle things. Is it gonna be that easy? Just put the cable in the back of the clamp. I would have figured something there was stripped out. All right, you can go wide open with her. All right, well, I feel like this little dude. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, well, see, I just seen what was going on here. So I am going to have to put this breather on before it just pulled. The little backing plate was just held on there again. Don't want to mess with it much. It tore the little gasket a little bit. I don't want it to suck air anywhere and suck dirt into it, because that's what it'll do, and it'll never quite run right. I never put that fuel air adjustment in there. All right, I'm back here. I had to stop there a second and turn the fan on and let this room cool down a little bit. But while I was doing that, I went ahead and threw this air cleaner back on here, because that's what bolts this bracket down, which is what holds this throttle cable bracket, which holds all the throttles and all them good things. So that got through back on there. Again, with any of this stuff, the screwdriver is way too big and way too long. Just be gentle, just snug it up. That's all you're doing. When you get snug, just don't get too heavy-handed with it. This is all just aluminum and thin metal. Yeah, it's a USA made, but everything has always been kind of built to be semi-disposable here in the US. I don't care, even if you go back in the old days. Yes, it was repairable. You might have been able to break it down in your driveway and work on it, but you think the fact that they had all them parts available to do that should be able to point to the fact that, well, they knew you were gonna. There was some things engineered into them to make sure that you had to work on it. Had to replace some things, some wear items that shouldn't be wear items, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, well, that's all back together. We got the throttle doing throttling thing, pulling the governor out. The governor's moving freely like it should. I don't have an air cleaner for it. I'll have to try to find some element. I'm gonna take and look at the stuff in that air cleaner. Just the screen. So I'm gonna take this. I might go back and look in my junk pile and see if there ain't one back there I can cut the filament up and make one for it, because you're just gonna suck a bunch of garbage into it. And then when we come back, we'll put the recoil pull starter back on it. I've got the gas tank out sitting with just some regular gas in it, just trying to break up some of that oil in the bottom of it, so I'll drain that out and let the majority of that evaporate. We'll throw some premix in it, take this dude outside. Oh, and I want to real fast check the oil level. So let me clean some things up, get resituated. It's just easier if I come back to you. All right, before we throw this recoil starter on here, I'll set this dude up. Hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing there. You can. And this here is the gearbox oil fill, but I want to check it and make sure we got oil down in there before I go cranking a whole lot on it and seeing if I can get it to start. Oh, yep. Let's see, because right here is where your oil level is. You kind of set this thing up on its end, fill it up, set it back down, let what you don't need drain back out. Or I guess you could open this plug, fill up here. I guess that would be the smarter way. I don't always do things the easy way, but as long as you get it done. But that's it. I can see it down in there. It's probably not dead on, but it's enough to where I could start it. I'll have to pick up some 90 weight, I think is what I read. And I'll probably need a little bit of Loctite or something. Not Loctite, thread dope. All right, so there's that. I think the next, let me grab the recoil starter and we'll throw that on. I'm trying to do this where we ain't got so many cuts, but if you've seen what I had to go through to go grab things. All right, now before we can test spark, I think best to go ahead and throw this recoil starter back on here. Fuel tank I'm not going to bother with just yet. I want to test and see how, if we got any kind of spark, because I probably had to pull this cover right back over off of here. Get back into the magneto. I guess that's what this is gonna, I don't know. I kind of call everything on these little engines a magneto. I don't know. If it's got another name, tell me. Hillbillies I grew up with, that's what everything was a magneto. And it gotta be said like a magneto. A magneto. A magneto. But we'll get this on here and we'll spin it around. This cover got dropped, so of course it's a little tweaked here and there. They sure are awful, awkward critters to try to mess around with. I tried a 5-gallon bucket. I tried a couple of different things. A larger tote. No, this milk crate seems to be okay because the tail of it kind of locks itself in them holes. All right. Well, such a short screw, a lot of threads. All right. Let's see, I've got the fuel tank outside soaking with some gas. All right, we got throttle again. So I think next we should probably set this in here like this. Make sure you guys can see. Let's see if we can get you a little. Well, I guess that's probably going to be your bird's eye view. Yeah, you can kind of see the spark plug down in there. Let's see. I'm no pro, guys. I'm just trying to give you a. Oh, that did nothing. That made it worse. There we go. How about that? It's almost center screen. Might drive some of you nuts. That flopping camera. Alright. So, let's pull the spark plug out. And find what I did with my spark plug wrenches and sockets. There we go. That should be 3/8. Wow. Everywhere you turn, you lock it in place. It's an awkward thing with these handles. I wouldn't want to work on these every day. Let's see. Yeah, it should be. Nope, that's in. See? Be careful. You start holding things upside down and inside out and around. All right. Ah, that's pretty clean. This thing ran pretty clean. Somebody took care of it. It sure would appear. Let's see. Now, it's nice having the toolbox right in hand, though. Usually I'm laying in a driveway somewhere trying to figure out how I'm going to get everything done. Of course, I can't find spark plug testers. All of them. I've got so many of them. I just kind of reorganized everything not long ago, so some stuff has been put away, and I am not sure where I put it. Yeah, I'll do this the old-fashioned way. What the heck? I'm gonna just throw it in there and pull it a few times and see if we can see a spark. Phew, it's another warm day today here in Ohio. Let's see. Take a file and clean one of those fins up. Plug this in. Kind of crap this. Of course, I cleaned up a fin that isn't going to show us much. All right, let me see. Let's see if we can give this thing a pull without it shocking me. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got good spark. I don't know if you guys could see that, but yeah, it's got a good spark to it. So that's good. This thing seems like it's screaming, hey, I want to run again. All right, well, maybe it was just greasy. Sometimes it happens. Like I said, I bought this, I've probably had it 5 years laying in a shed. Picked it up at an estate sale 5 years ago, maybe 4.5, 5 years ago. And who knows how long it's sat, where I got it from. So it's hard saying. It may have been 10 or 15 years since this thing's run. May have been 5 or 6, they may have been using it right before I got it. Who knows? Estates get cleaned out pretty quick. But some kind of serial number. All right, well, let me get this moved outside. I'll make sure we'll throw this fuel tank back on it, and let's see if this thing will run. It'd be awesome if it did. All right, we got you moved outside here. That way when I go to hit this thing, it don't smoke up everything. First thing I think I want to do is we're going to go ahead, since I pulled this fuel air idle mixture screw and post all the way out, I'm going to go ahead and reset it. I think what I'm going to do is your standard, which is a 2.5 turn out, so you thread it all the way in. Don't force it, because on this one it'd be plastic, and a lot of them are. So you want to do 2.5 turns. So half, 1, half, 2, half. We'll start it there, and it's just a good starting point. I took the little air filter screen. I still need to pick up some actual cloth material, but that'll keep her from sucking anything big in there anyway. Bugs, leaves, sticks. Yeah, that's going to be a pain to do sitting on this in front of this camera, so of course we're going to move on. Little plastic tank, what it had on it. These rubber clips here. Sit down in the rubber clips of the engine casing. See if it'll sit here long enough for me to do it. Just gotta get it lined up, and knock them home. Bring this hose around here, spin it around. Handy tool right there. I've carried one for a lot of years now. I've went through a lot of them. You start to spread them out after a while. Oh, this hose has got a little bit of a crack to it, so it might actually end up leaking. Which may have been what caused all this to begin with. A cracked, leaky hose. There we go. This was a nut. This little kill, which is what I assume it is. It seems like it's moving, but this has to go up here, and it just hopefully clips back in where it went. There we go. All right, well, that went back on easy enough. All right. Let's try to pour a little bit of fuel in there. Now I use this pre-mixed. Give it a little shake. Try to set this thing as level as possible. As I said, I don't want to put much in here, just a little bit, just to see if we get a hit or two off of it. I'm sure it'll have to be adjusted. And I imagine this fuel line's gonna leak. And this stuff ain't cheap, but it's ethanol free. That's what I like about it. We had a local station here where you could buy ethanol free for a while, but they took it back out. I don't know if it was a little bit more expensive or what. All right, well, I believe we got everything in there. Choke is this way. Get her lined up here somewhere. Let's see. If we set it. There we go. That might start like that. Let's see. Well, if all else fails, air vent, move choke lever to arrow lever, move throttle control half open, pull starter handle after move choke lever to original. So you gotta, this is that little kill switch that I just put back on there. Wow, this is awkward. Well, let's see, that little diaphragm on that carb may be bad. I don't recommend this. I want to see if it's a pulling problem. Just a little Just a tickle. Let's see. We got her to hit. Well, that's a good sign. I wonder. Let's try running this. Phew, that wear you out. Trying to hold that thing. See if we're getting fuel out over here. Seems like it. Let's see. Make sure we got maximum vintage. This oh, there, it's sticking again. That smelled like it was hitting on fuel. Let's see. Open that one on. Well, I about shook everything off this stupid table. God damn you. Alright, let me do some adjustments here. Alright guys, I hate to do it, but I might have to admit defeat on this one. We got to hear it hit off some starting fluid. But this carb, I've been through it now 2 or 3 times, and that little diaphragm in the bottom is just, it's so crispy. I don't think it's going to create any vacuum to pull any fuel into it. I can get it to flow through it. There's no cavities blocked or anything. But I've been pulling on it and cleaning on it for about the last 3 hours. As you can see, it's too hot for this. Quick online look, and I could see that Amazon's got them for 15 bucks, I think. So I'm just going to order a carb and just go that route. I'm not in no hurry for it. It's not like the job I've got for it. I've got to get done soon. So, you know, it's personal. I just don't want to go out there with a post hole digger, and thought if I could get this old girl running, might as well do it. But it's been fun. We got to see taking the carb off, got to go, you know, kind of an inside cleaning. I probably won't include, I filmed pulling it apart, but it's just 4 screws and pull the cover off, and there's a diaphragm there and a couple passages. There's nothing really to show, so it probably won't get included in this. Maybe, if you've seen it, then I decided to. But if you've never hit like and subscribe, or, you know, I'm sure most of you watching probably ever don't subscribe. It don't cost you anything. There's no monthly. You're just showing me that you're watching, and it shows YouTube that you're watching. Not that I'm concerned about what YouTube's doing, but I want to know what you guys think. If you ever seen one of these or ever dealt with one of these before, this particular brand, or got a tip or trick or something you know about them, be sure to drop a comment below. Again, hit like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. But my name is Jarvis. This is Itsnotjunktv. And until the next one, take care.